Yo, what's up, everybody? We back. Two Bros Talking. I'm Burn. I got my brother Ben on the line.
What's happening, everybody?
All right, big weekend.
Hell of a weekend, man. Hell of a weekend.
Big weekend of basketball last weekend. And right now, in particular, we talking about the New Jersey Nets, Milwaukee Bucks, Game 7. Man, you go ahead and go, because I know you got a lot to say. So you go ahead and start off. But let me ask you this: Who do you put more onus on in the loss? Who do you think need to repent, so to speak?
Well, first and foremost, look, I'm not a Kevin Durant fan at all, but he deserves the least amount of blame, because I don't know what else you could ask a man to do outside. You can't ask nobody to do more than what he did. I'm not even Harden. I'm a quote unquote, he had a bad hamstring, because to me, he didn't look no different than he would normally. When he was in Houston, that's what he looked like. On healthy wheels, he disappeared in closeout games. That's just who he is. It's Steven, I have never coached before in my life, Nash. You get looking at his face on the bench, he looked like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I got a caveat, because I can just say, oh, well, we weren't healthy. Oh, well, Kyrie was hurt and James was on one leg. But it's like, bro, if you had made a few tweaks, remember, y'all only lost by 2 in overtime. So you don't get to say, oh, well, it was injuries. If this had happened and this had happened, we would have won. Y'all was right there anyway. If you had to just use your bench somewhat, maybe Durant got enough oxygen to make that jump shot at the end of overtime. But they look like Phoenix under Mike D'Antoni when Nash played. They look like Houston under Mike D'Antoni where James Harden played. And then if you look down, they bench. Mike D'Antoni is one of Steve Nash's assistant coaches. So, for Brooklyn fans and the pundits who just assume that the Brooklyn is the favorite for next year, I got news for you. Some of the same issues they had this year, they gonna have next year, but it might be a little worse because they have no cap space. Because I don't think they can re-sign Blake Griffin.
Well,
and
so
Kyrie is injury prone, so you may end up looking at Harden and Durant in the playoffs again next year. They may never play together all year.
Well,
it may never happen.
I'm like, as constructed, that team, I don't, like you said, if they can't re-sign everybody back, in particular somebody like Blake Griffin, I don't know, their chances of winning drastically increase. It's like you said, man, you can't play KD the whole game, 3 out of the last 2 games, him scoring 40 plus points and triple doubles and all this other stuff, and dude was gassed. He was gassed. That's why he didn't score in the fourth. It's why he didn't score in the overtime. Dude was tired. Like, and I mean, and that's something. Shamet played 7 minutes in game 7. This is a guy who averaged 9 points a game.
I don't even remember seeing him.
He played 7 minutes, 1 rebound. Jeff Green played 13 minutes and he got 3 fouls. Jeff Green saved you in game 5. Like Jeff Green, and I don't think, and Jeff Green, I don't think he played the first 3 games of the series. I don't think he was on the floor the first 3 games of the series.
No, he didn't.
Like, I mean,
Nash coached them just like D'Antoni coached.
You mean to tell me you can't get Joe Harris? Joe Harris played 47 minutes. He was 3 of 10 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3, 10 points, 9 rebounds. He played 47 minutes. You mean to tell me Shamet can't come in, Jeff Green can't come in, you can't sit Durant down for a spell, you can't give him them 2 minutes at the end of the first quarter, 2 minutes in, the 2 minutes of the first quarter, 2 minutes of the third quarter, and let somebody else get in, develop a rhythm, and potentially save you? Like, no, it was
because you scared.
It's Steve.
Because you scared. Because see, you remember Durant played all of Game 5 and Brooklyn won. And the only reason why Durant the only reason why he got any rest in Game 6 was because Milwaukee took off on him at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then Nash threw in the towel halfway through it, and he took everybody out, or else Durant wouldn't have said that game. So yeah, brother was tired. He was exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, he in Jeff Green in Game 5, he was 8 for 11. He hit 7 threes, 4 for 4 from the line, 27 points. I mean, he even had 5 fouls, but it's like still he was out there. You have got to have a bench, especially if one of your top 3 players is out. Because you know what? And my thing about Harden, when he was coming off the injury, man, he played a lot of games in that series. He played the last 3 games in that series.
He showed
like, dude, like I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
All the Game 5 and almost all the Game 6 and all of this game. I think he played like 49 minutes in this time. He was in the 50s in Game 7.
Yeah, I don't want to hear. He was coming off the injury. Man, please frag that. Forget that. Yeah, he played Game 5, 6, and 7. He played 46 minutes in Game 5. 46.
Out of 48.
Game 6, he played 40 minutes.
Yep, and he would have played more, except for, again, they took him out in that fourth quarter because Milwaukee ran away with it.
And then Game 7, he played the whole game.
See, it's crazy. And it's like he coming off, quote unquote, no, he had that hamstring injury, but he coming off the hamstring injury. You can't get him a few minutes to sit down.
You can't sit him down for a minute. You can't do it.
And nothing else for him to sit you in and tell me that, again, so when Kyrie is healthy, you still have no rotation. Now you just leaning on them 3 to produce everything for you, and you assume nobody gonna foul out, nobody gonna get injured or nothing like that. Y'all let Milwaukee beat up on y'all, and we gonna have before it get too deep in the Eastern Conference Finals, we have to have a talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. Not to get away from Brooklyn, but I think the Milwaukee Bucks are the most fraudulent NBA team
I don't
in the league, and I will tell you why. But back to Brooklyn. Joe Harris, this the same dude that earlier in the season Kevin Durant said he was a better shooter than Klay Thompson. And I'm just going to assume that was Durant licking shots because he good at that. He good at lip service. Because I don't like Durant. He played his heart out. But listening to him in the press conference, he a little bit too egotistical to me. He a little too arrogant for me. He a little too flippant. It's like, dude, nobody is beneath you just because you can shoot a J.
Well, Here's the thing about the Joe Harris comment. Like, and you entitled to your opinion. You play with both of them. You got an insight that we all don't have. I'll give you that. But I'll tell you one thing. And you know what? For all intents and purposes, let's say Kevin Durant is right. But I'll tell you one thing. He ain't a better shooter in the playoffs. And that's when you win championships. Because getting Klay Thompson helped you get 2 of them. Joe Harris helped you go home. So again, watch your mouth, dude. When you holding the trophy up and you want to say that, that's fine. After he done hit 8 for 11 in Game 6 of the clinching championship game, but don't tell me that in the middle of the regular season and then we get into the playoffs and he go 3 for 9 in Game 7 and y'all go home. Like, dude,
watch your mouth.
Like, bro, they're.
Because it's gonna come back and bite you. I heard somebody else say earlier, some of the pundits talking about how karma got Brooklyn this year.
Well, and I could see that.
I think that's got a lot to do with it too, because for they doing load management throughout the year, so they never really played together. Load management. Kyrie decided, I'm just gonna take he took like 3-4 weeks off in the season
He took a sabbatical.
I ain't gonna play. I'm just going to dip away. And then we don't even really need a coach in the off season. Remember last year, we don't even need a coach. Why we need a coach? Da 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 da. And then you just pick up Nash again, like you said, because he's inexperienced, because they assume that he won't take them to task, and because he didn't, and because he was scared, and because he was a little inexperienced, now y'all sitting at the crib. And injuries, that's a part of the playoffs. AD messed up his groin.
Yeah, you can't complain.
Healthy.
Yeah,
they got put out. And it is what it is.
Yep.
It is what it is. Joel Embiid wasn't playing healthy. It is what it is. The point is, the Brooklyn Nets are, as of now, presently constructed 0-1 for finals.
No,
playoff appearances. They gone.
They're I don't know, and I'm like, the thing about when you lose like that, they're in the same boat as Philly. I mean, they're in the same boat as Philly. Philly got to make some roster moves. Like I don't think Philly can come back with Ben Simmons. But if they make a lateral move and they get somebody who can fill that spot, Philly will be right back in the mix next year. I mean, as funny as it sounds, Atlanta's not going to be an easy out next year. Just a whole lot of things. I mean, should they be the favorite? Well, I get why people would make them the favorite, but it's something about them. It's something about these super teams. There's something about these super teams, and I'm talking about since LeBron made the decision. Ain't nobody won no more than 2. So don't be thinking. Don't be thinking.
Always work out the way you think.
Don't be thinking that. Well, we got the. I mean, and
if you go back to Boston with KG,
they only got 1.
Pierce and Ray, they only won 1.
They only won 1.
Then you go to Miami, the Heatles, they only won 2.
They won 2. Hell, Durant in Golden State only won 2 championships.
Durant Golden State only won 2, and they were way better than this Brooklyn team.
Yeah, so don't be thinking, and it's like, and to the, like you said, to people in BK, Brooklyn in the house, and oh my God, don't be surprised if y'all don't get nothing. Don't be surprised if you don't get nothing, because Shaq, Kobe, GP, and Karl Malone didn't win. They didn't win at all. So don't get excited.
They sure didn't.
Don't get excited.
They didn't win nothing.
If sometimes you put it together and don't nothing come about. Because I'm like, Kyrie can be like, man, I'm taking next year off to go swim with the whales. Like, you never know. He could do some stuff like that. Dude is far out like that. And playoff Harden is pandemic Harden. Like I'm gonna even leave. I'm finna leave. Paul George alone. It's pandemic Harden, because dude, when the playoffs come, dude gets sick every single time. So I'm not penciling Brooklyn in. I think a lot of people want to be like, oh, Brooklyn, LA next year, but I don't know, because I still think Golden State gonna win.
Let's quit assuming. Let's stop assuming. Yeah, Golden State gonna wreck some next year.
I'm picking the Warriors next year. But yeah, and I think that is one of the main things that NBA and just basketball people everywhere, you gotta stop doing. Stop penciling stuff in. Stop, because you look up and you got the Clippers, you got the Suns, you got the Hawks, you got the Bucks in the conference finals. Like, this stuff is not, and it's more entertaining this way. It's better this way.
Yes, yeah, and see, it's easy. And see, this is what happens in the NBA a lot, and it's unfortunate. But realistically, people get so swept up in the regular season, they forget how the playoffs work, and they forget that you don't get to get fat on Sacramento and the Bobcats and the Gristle and Orlando. You stuck in a series for 7 games.
You battling the Hawks,
Harden, Kyrie, yeah, y'all look fantastic game in and game out because a coach, they ain't really prepping for you. They just like, oh, we gonna play hard and see what happens. But when the playoffs hit and it's a series, teams can key in on what you do well and what you don't do so well. So when you think you just got this clear-cut advantage, you don't. And see, that's what happened to Philadelphia. I think that's what happened to New York and Philadelphia against Atlanta. And we're going to have this discussion not in this, but in the coming up. Milwaukee, I think they in deeper waters than what people assume they are with Atlanta.
I don't agree with that. I think Atlanta has proven themselves to be legitimate, and I don't think that the hope is Milwaukee ain't looking past them, because it's like if they can beat the Sixers, they can beat anybody left in the playoffs. Like let's just put that out there right there. If they can beat them, they can beat anybody that's left. They can beat the Bucks, the Suns, or the Clippers. So I don't think so. I think, and my hope is, again, I want to see the Bucks win. I think Phoenix is gonna win, but Giannis has to dominate the series, and he has to dominate the series the way Giannis would dominate a series. He can't be out there shooting threes. He has to get in that paint. He has to dominate. And I'm gonna tell you the one thing about the Bucks, and one of the reasons why I don't think that they're a fraud, and the reason why I don't think the Bucks is a fraud is because of Middleton. Middleton is great. Middleton is real. Middleton is real. Like I think that's the reason why I'm confident in the Bucks, because it's like if the Bucks didn't have him, they had somebody else. They had like a Tobias Harris or something, I'd agree. But I'm like, Middleton is that steady, constant force that they have that's gonna take those big shots from anywhere on the floor. Whereas Giannis, he's got to be in that paint. Like Capella's gonna struggle against Giannis. Atlanta's front line is gonna struggle with him a little bit. Brook Lopez is a big old brick that, you look up and he do something. He tried to get that game away though. I don't know why they placed him in that corner.
Well, I
almost walked away after that.
How did that happen? I was so mad.
Yeah, I was heated at that.
They didn't even get a shot off. I was like,
and then KD come down
to be joking.
KD come down, tie the game up, but he blocked KD's shot late in that game, which gave him the position. Atlanta is gonna they beat the Bucks one out of 3 times. They lost all 3 to Brooklyn, so they can definitely compete with them. And I think that Milwaukee is aware of that. I believe Milwaukee is aware of that.
Nate McMillan is going to outcoach Bud. And it's going to be, I think the series is going to be a lot more interesting than what people think.
Well, I don't think that
Milwaukee looked like a juggernaut, but because I'm watching them and I just don't like the way. And Drew Holiday, he got to play better for sure. Because he had a big shot in the overtime. He had some big shots in that overtime, but he stunk for the majority of the game. I was like, bro, where are you at, man?
If Milwaukee win, they'll win in 6. If Atlanta win, they'll win in 7. I think if it goes 7, I'm gonna put my money on Atlanta. If Milwaukee needs to,
they gotta win game 1 so that because they don't want to give Atlanta no hope.
No, you gotta.
Because Atlanta, they rolled in, got that game 1 out of Philadelphia, and I think that shook Philadelphia to the core, and they never fully recovered.
Well, they got game 1 against the Knicks too. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, the Bucks need to win game 1. I think that's going to be beyond imperative that they get that one and kind of set the tone in the series. But I got Milwaukee beating them. I think Milwaukee is the better team. I think Milwaukee will win. In the West, I think the Suns, without Kawhi Leonard, I think the Suns is going to have too much for them. Those dudes, and the thing about the Suns, The Suns have won like 7 straight games. Because you count the last 2 against the Lakers, or the last 3 against the Lakers. Last 2 or 3 against the Lakers, they swept Denver, and then they won this game. Yep. And the reason why Phoenix, I think they're going to win the whole thing is who's going to disrupt the way that they play. No one has, in this little winning streak that they've been on, it's been because no one can disrupt them. The thinking was, oh snap, without Chris Paul, they're not going to be, they're not going to have it together. Man, Booker ran that, he ran that thing like he'd been playing point guard his whole life. And it's like, that's that team, that's that group that went undefeated in the bubble. Like, Phoenix is good. Like, they're good. I think they're gonna win it all. I want the Bucks, but I think Phoenix is gonna pull it out. Because I think without Kawhi Leonard, I don't think the Clippers can win that series. I don't. They need to have him to win the whole thing. Now, if they had him, I think I'd probably be saying I think the Clippers are going to win. But without him, Phoenix is just too. Until I see them get disrupted and see them taken out of their game, I think Phoenix is going. I think Phoenix is going to cruise, and I don't think we're going.
Because they're going to get CP3 back. Kawhi not coming back for the Clippers.
If the Clippers lose tomorrow. The Clippers got to leave here 1-1. I don't think that they'd be able to come back from 2 games down against Phoenix unless they could, without Kawhi. If they had Kawhi and they went down 2 games to none, I'd be like, whatever, it ain't over till it's over. But I don't know, man. The Suns look pretty strong.
And you can't, eventually that's gonna bite you in the behind. You can't go first round down 2-0, oh, we gonna come back and win. Second round down 2-0, oh, we gonna come back and win. And then you go down 2-0. For a third time, eventually that's gonna run out, man.
But I do want to say this: props and respect to Ty Lue for getting them there, because Doc Rivers couldn't do that.
That's real.
Doc Rivers couldn't do that. He couldn't do it with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, and he couldn't do it with PG-13 and Kawhi. So give credit to Tyronn.
Under better circumstances, Doc couldn't do it, and Tyronn Lue did it under worse circumstances. So yeah, he did make the love for me.
So tomorrow is game 2. I think that's the Phoenix. What is tomorrow? I think that's
tomorrow is that's game 2 of Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix LA.
Yeah,
Phoenix LA is tomorrow.
Gonna start your Wednesday.
I'm gonna go. Man, I'm picking. I'm going to pick the Clippers tomorrow. I think they're going to disrupt them tomorrow. And I want to see a long series. I don't want to see Phoenix beat them in 5. I'm going to go with the Clippers tomorrow, and I got Milwaukee on Wednesday winning game 1.
I think Phoenix is going to get them tomorrow because I don't expect the Clippers to shoot the way they shot again. I don't expect all of them fools, Reggie and even I'm not Paul George, because I'm not calling him playoff P. I'm not doing it because I think he is playing with no pressure right now, and that's why he's looking fantastic, because he's playing with no pressure. So I'm not calling him playoff P, Paul George. I just don't think they're gonna shoot as well as they shot tomorrow, and I think CP3 might be back.
I think that's what they.
Or they're saying no.
That's what they. I think they hinting at that. Fat Boy Windhurst had something to say. I didn't see the clip, but he said shocking update, whatever. But we'll see. We'll check that out. But post your comments down below, man. Hit that subscribe button and let us know what you think. Who you got winning tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Just overall, what's your finals matchup looking like? Mine is Phoenix, Milwaukee. What's yours?
It's going to be Phoenix, Milwaukee.
Yeah, so, post your comments down below. Let us know what you think. That's all we got for this one right here, man. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it, and we'll see y'all soon.
Peace out.
I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for a very lovely evening. Never have so few owed so much to so many. Good night.